Hi, today I'm going to talk about some basic concepts about geometry. Geometry is probably one of the funnest and the easiest topics or as a subject to understand. Why is that so? Because anything and everything in geometry can be understood more as a visual medium. You don't need a whole lot of formulas, but more or less, it's basically what you see is what you understand. Everything is in the form of shapes, figures, triangles, circles, and it's easy to understand it that way. Let me give you an example of what I'm trying to say. Let me put my camera right over here so that you can have a look at the whiteboard. Now, if you have a look over here, let me give you an example of a triangle. Now, a triangle, suppose the sides are A, B, and C. Let us suppose this is angle A, this is angle B, and this is angle C. Now, the first question that you're going to ask is, if this is a triangle and if we have three angles, angle A, angle B, and angle C, what is the total sum of the angles of a triangle? That is like a basic concept that one is supposed to know about a triangle. We can also go ahead from a triangle to a square. A square is a four-sided figure instead of a three-sided figure. And suppose the four sides are A, B, C, and D's. So you have the angles A, B, C, and D. Now, the next question you're going to ask me is that what is the sum of the angles in a four-sided figure such as a triangle? Now it becomes confusing for many people to see the relation as to what is the sum of the angles in a closed figure. When you have a look at these kind of figures, you gotta understand or remember just one basic formula. It is n minus 2 times 180 degrees. Now, you must be thinking, what is this? N is actually the total number of sides of a figure. So, in the instance of a triangle has three sides. So, n in that instance would be 3. N in that instance would be 3. If n would be 3 for a triangle, the total sum of the angles of a triangle would be 3 minus 2, which is 1, times 180 would be 180. So the sum of the angles of a triangle would be 180 degrees. Now if we take the same concept and if we put it up for a square, you have four sides. So if we put it into the formula, 4 minus 2 would be equivalent to 2. 2 times 180 would be equivalent to, if you plug it into the calculator, that would be 360 degrees. So the sum of the angles of a square is 360 degrees, and the sum of the angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. Now, if you come across any question that involves a triangle or a square, the sum of the angles of a triangle and the sum of the angles, the total sum of the angles of a triangle and the total sum of the angles of a square that I showed over here lies true in any kind of situation. Now this is a basic concept of how you could find the sum of the angles. If you feel that this is really helpful to you in understanding just like a basic concept, and if you want to learn more in a more interactive way, in a more fundamental way, and if you have not even basic questions, but if you have questions related to triangles and squares that is a bit more complicated and harder to understand, feel free to contact me or just to hire me as a geometry instructor. I would be more than happy to help out. Thanks.